From Milo asks, how do you store your fly line away for the season?
I understand fly fishermen, they don't throw their line away, huh?
Well, I take as much pride in my gear, even though it's a little beat up and used, but $55, $65, $75 a shot for a real good quality, 3M Scientific Anglers line or whatever. You can't just strip it off like you do that. Generally what I do is just a two-part thing. I usually take my tip off so I'm not poking my wife or the kids around the kitchen table with it. It's a little bit easier to handle. But I do the same thing you do. I just strip my leader right off and get rid of it. That's inexpensive, and I replace that each season. But then I take my line and I just string it out. Like I might go over to a post and I tie it around that post inside, or if I'm downstairs in the cellar, I'll tie it off to a little screw eye that I'll put in there. And I just run it back and forth just like a clothesline. And what I'll do, I'll clean it first. I usually just take paper towels, as a matter of fact. Just good old paper towels, and I'll take 2 or 3 off and fold them up together in some warm soapy water and just get them a little bit damp. And I'll just clean that line. I'll get a lot of that residue off there. And then what I do, you can also have fly line dressing. There's all kinds of different types. I've got a generic one here from Scientific Anglers, but the dressing I usually save for the springtime. I don't put that on in the winter because it's got a chance to gum up and stuff.
Just to keep it more floating?
Exactly. If you've got a floating line, if you're doing dry flies, it helps it to float, and it helps preserve the line as well. So what I'll do is I'll clean it with good old-fashioned soap and water. I just use Dawn dishwashing detergent. I'll just get a little bit in the bottom of the dish pan there, and my wife lets me usually finish the dishes, but hey, that goes hand in hand. And then again, I just string it out, and I clean it off there, and you'd be surprised the amount of debris that comes off the fly line on you.
So when you get it all wound around, is that taking memory out of it, or it doesn't?
Well, it doesn't have memory like monofilament does.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it doesn't. It's really neat. And one of the things that you want to remember, if you do take it off, guys, and you tie it up, I wouldn't untie it from the fly reel itself. That last 2 or 3 feet I wouldn't worry about. And the reason why is if you take it completely off and you forget which is the beginning and which is the end, if you have a bass bug taper or a weight forward taper, that first 10 or 15 yards of your fly line is what you buy it for. And if you happen to put it back on your reel backwards and you've got your weight forward taper in the back and your level taper, which is the remainder line in the front, then you've kind of defeated your purpose. So I usually leave it right attached to the reel. And I don't usually change my backing. I use Dacron, black Dacron for backing. Sometimes I'll use some 40-pound monofilament, but I guess that's a pleasant problem. I haven't got into too many fish that have got me to my backing yet, and if I get there, maybe I'll have a new tip some year.
There you go.